All right, I'm here today with all my friends to talk about the big news that broke this weekend, which is that ESL are going to be including South Africa in their international initiative in the female Counter-Strike scene. So I'm going to be breaking that down in this video. Lots to go through. Let's just get straight into it. So ESL, towards the end of December, announced a new initiative, the GGForAll initiative, which is essentially their new drive in 2022 to try and make esports and gaming in general a discrimination-free space, make it more inclusive, less toxic in general. Obviously, a massive task, with ESL being one of the biggest players in the scene. It's really important for them to drive these types of initiatives. A private company essentially dictating a lot of the terms of which these events and these tournaments take place on. And so, yeah, it's really cool to see them, taking initiative, making changes, trying to be a difference maker, to try and drive change. And I think that they're, some of the most important players to make things like this happen. So good to see that they're recognizing their responsibility in the space and taking and being accountable. So what is GGForAll? As I said, it's their new initiative that they're going to be running, and it basically covers various different aspects of gaming and esports in general. But the main aspect we're going to be focusing on today is the ESL Impact, which is their new international circuit of events for the female scene. And the big news is that South Africa has gotten a wildcard qualifier into those LAN Finals. So let's draw it back a bit. Let's just talk about what ESL Impact is in the first place. As quoted on their website, it is a first important step towards a more diverse CSGO ecosystem as we are looking to attract more women into the game through a safe environment to compete in. So, that kind of just sums up what the role is for this ESL Impact league or circuit of events. They want to try and increase the representation of females in esports in general. It's a very interesting case because it's like this is the first sort of time we're seeing this be in the spotlight in the international scene. It's obviously come up a number of times over the years, but like there was a huge, it was almost a big controversy when ESL announced this, and all the analysts and everybody had their say. Obviously, I'm esports, he's esports, my plants are esports. There was a lot of talking points that came through, and why I say it's interesting is because in South Africa we've been dealing with this for a long time already. It's not new that we've had a lack of female representation at our highest levels in the scene. We've run female events, I think dating back to, if I'm not mistaken, Metal State announced their first like Valkyrie event or something in 2017. Might have been 18, but I'm pretty sure it was 17. And that was supposed to be, what increased the representation and grew the women teams through the ranks. Thing is, how successful has it been is the question. We're still sitting here saying that we don't probably have the representation that we would want, and we need to find out what the reasons are for that, because obviously there is definitely a place for having these events initially, but it can't be the be all and end all. Like, you need to have these steps of development that then lead from these initial events, then that take it, you continue the feeding on your way up, that development and that progress. So I'm interested to see how they take it from this female circuit, and then is it like okay, so we give you the base and the platform, and then from there you're supposed to mold yourself, and then you fly free, or is there more steps to come after this to improve the integration? I don't know. This video is not necessarily, this video is actually not all about talking about the rights and the wrongs and the direction and my opinion. This is actually just more to break down the facts, I suppose, on what this means for the South African female scene in general. I'll be going over the entire circuit of events, so if you wanted to know what it means for female teams in general in the world, you'll probably get a decent enough idea. But this is also probably focused more on South Africa. If you're looking for drama, it's unfortunate. I mean, not going to be too opinionated in this video. So let's shift it across to talk about the circuit of events themselves. Now, there's a total of $500,000 in 2022 that is going to be committed to the circuit of events across the female international scene. And that includes multiple different aspects. Now, the first aspect that we should touch on, and it's just like the consistency aspect, is the cash cups that are going to be hosted across the world. So obviously you got North America, South America, Europe, Asia, the Oceanic region, and then South Africa as well. So 6 regions, as far as I know, are having exclusive female cash cups hosted. In South Africa, or everywhere, they're going to be running 2 of these cash cups per month. So essentially, you're getting a huge amount of competitive opportunities to play these cash cups. There's a $500 prize pool in each of these cash cups for South Africa as well. $350 for the first play. That's like 5,000 Rand, guys. Like 5,000 for competing over the weekend. If you're working really hard, that sounds like some pretty easy money to me. You can also join all the cash cups as the female team. So if you wanted, essentially, you could be playing 4 cash cups a month if they're spaced out in that way. Anyway, so it's looking good in terms of the amount of competition there is available for female teams to play. We always talk about how important it is to get official game time instead of just screwing or practicing or doing theory. Playing actual matches themselves are so important when it comes to development and progressing. So I think that that's really cool that there's going to be such a high amount of official games for these female teams to play. So the cash cup's definitely almost going to be like the backbone for progress and development, I think. We then take it from the cash cups, which is the first step of the ESL circuit. We then have the ESL Impact league season. Such a weird name, but that's what they've decided to go with. And this is basically the biggest aspect of the of ESL Impact. Now, let me just pull up a schedule here and we can go through this together. Now, you can see we're in Feb right now, obviously. So there are there's two ESL Impact League seasons that have been announced, Season 1 and Season 2. Okay, and each season is going to be played in North America, South America, and Europe. 8 teams in each region. Okay, the top 2 teams from each region will qualify directly for the season finals, which will be played at the end of each season. For Season 1, you're going to have 24 teams, obviously 8 in each of the 3 regions that I mentioned. Top 2 qualify for Dallas, which is going to be happening from the 3rd until the 5th of June. You can see that on your screen there. So that's going to be the first league finals, or the first Season 1 league finals culminating in Dallas from the 3rd until the 5th of June, which, as I said, is going to have 6 teams from the leagues that have been played throughout the season, okay, from March through May. And then those are 6 of the 8 teams in the LAN finals. Then there's 2 spots that are going to be available at those LAN finals as well for teams that didn't actually compete in the leagues during the seasons themselves. And one of those spots is going to be going to South Africa, which is just like the mind-blowing news that we've got lately. And the second spot from the first event is going to be going to the Oceanic region. So what's crazy is there's essentially 4 wildcard slots across the 2 events. 2 of those slots, one in each event, has been given to South African teams, and then the 2 other slots have been split, one for the Asian region and one for the Oceanic region. So essentially, guys, we need to be so goddamn grateful here in South Africa because they've actually given us a wild card slot in each of the live finals to be played at the end of the season. So even though we're not included at all, obviously, in the seasons to be played out across the months, the entire season, the group form or the round robin format, it's like 8 teams that play each other twice, like the Premier League, basically. And as I said, the top teams come through to the finals. Even though we're not included in that, we have a wild card slot in both the Dallas finals, the Season 1 finals, and the DreamHack Winter finals, which are the Season 2 finals. There are already 2 international events that we will guaranteed have a South African female team at this year, which is just insane. We have never, ever, 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 ever in the history of the South African female scene had an international team or a female team go overseas. The only representation that we've had, as far as can remember right now off the top of my head, which I'm like 99% sure is correct, is Shaz, who competed in like 2016 or something like that, and she did phenomenally well. Of course, she won. What was it? Was that games event? Man, I can't remember it now, but it's one of those events that doesn't happen anymore, right? I say a games event. It's like games was in the name, if I remember correctly. Anyway, Shaz has obviously had some great representation internationally, winning that event. And either way, she competed in that team for a while. So we've got some history in that regard, but as an entire team going across internationally, that is unheard of. Now we've got 2 guaranteed international events coming through for the South African scene, which is, as I say, just like ridiculous news, the best news. Really, really big deal for the South African female scene. Finally, giving maybe something to the female scene to really work towards and get excited about. We've had so much drama in the South African scene and in the female scene, in particular over the past few years. So many, talented players coming and going, and just so many rumors of what's going wrong. But maybe this is what can really just get everybody to put the bullshit behind them and focus on the task at hand and this incredible opportunity for our scene, right? Obviously, this supersedes the female scene in general. This is just like the South African scene, which benefits so greatly from this, continuing to put us on the map, continuing to showcase what we have and what our region is capable of, right? So let's just make sure I go over my notes and that I haven't missed anything here. The wild card, the qualifier for for the first LAN final. So obviously it's going to be just a South African qualifier alone. Those signups open up in March, so make sure to keep your eyes out for that. And that looks like I managed to actually pretty much cover everything from the ESL Impact circuit. Obviously, one thing I didn't mention, because South Africa is not going to be involved in it, is the fact that there is a standalone event between Season 1 and Season 2. You can see it on the graphic there, DreamHack Valencia. That's an 8-team event, invites and qualifiers, but I'm pretty sure there's not going to be any qualifiers for South African teams. Maybe if one of the South African female teams could win DreamHack, that'll also make a really big run there. Maybe they would be inclined to invite the team then. So you always just got to give your best shot and show people what you're capable of to make sure that you get your shot again in the future. But I don't think that DreamHack Valencia is actually relevant to the South African scene. But like I said, make sure to keep your eye open for the qualifiers that are going to be coming through. And that's what makes up the ESL's Impact circuit. So just before I shift into the last part of this conversation, that's what makes up this ESL Impact competition, is that you've got the cash cups, 2 per month in all the different regions that I mentioned. You've then got the 2 ESL Impact League seasons, which are culminating in LAN Finals, which is obviously, like I've said now, DreamHack Winter is the second one, and then DreamHack Dallas is the first one, and then there's DreamHack Valencia, which is a standalone event. So those are the 3 different aspects which make this ESL Impact circuit. So there we go. Now just what pertains specifically to the South African female scene is the fact that we need to take this opportunity with both hands. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity for a lot of people. With you get to this is not something a lot of people get to experience in their life. And it really can open so many doors. So we need to make sure we come together as a scene here and give this the best possible shot. And I've already seen a number of people reaching out on Twitter saying that they're more than happy to assist female teams or female players in any way that they might need some help. Reach out. I'll actually put their Twitter links in the description of this video, so that if you're a female player who's watching this and you want some direction or help, you can reach out to some of those individuals. I saw Sonic was one of the guys that even said while he's still here in South Africa, hint, hint, he said before he goes back to America, means our boy is still going to be competing overseas, which is, from what I could tell, it was a bit speculative at one stage. So that's cool. A little tangent there. But reach out to Sonic. He said that he would be keen to help. Nick, who's been one of the most astounding IGLs and coaches in South African Counter-Strike over the past 2 years. He's made his services available. Guys, why wouldn't you be getting on these individuals? Slide into their DMs, ask for help, but make sure that you ask for help for specific pointers. Know what you want to work on in your game. Don't just go and say, hey, can you help me be a better player? Like, that's such a broad topic. You need to know your own deficiencies, your own weaknesses, whether it's as a team or an individual. And that's what you can go to them with those specifics, ask for assistance, and then from there you can make the progress. So, go through your own demos or know what your own weaknesses are, and then go approach them, because that'll be way more productive. So there we go. So I saw Nexus as well, another name that I've got here. Nexus put his name in the hat for someone who would be happy to assist. And I'm sure there were more as well. Those were just the 3 off the top of my head that I remembered seeing. Another important aspect that I want to mention is make sure to read Elusive's post on Twitter. Now, everybody knows who Elusive is in the South African Counter-Strike scene, an absolute legend, and he also seems to have a way with words. He's not just a good-looking lad. He also has a way with his words, and he makes so many valid points in his recent Twitlonger, so I'll link that as well in the description. It's quite a read, and I know that overwhelms a lot of people, but it's really worth it just to see his take on a lot of the things and how, not just pointing out issues, but how we can move forward, how we should move forward, proactively providing solutions and giving ideas on things that can be done to put the past behind us and seize this opportunity. I mean, nobody knows competing internationally better than he does from a South African perspective, guys. So we need to listen to these people who have done this before, have been in these positions, have gone overseas, have been thrashed, have been hammered, have learned the lessons, and have come back. You take those lessons from them. You don't get as wrecked. Maybe you still get wrecked, but at least you have one or two pieces that you can expect when you go overseas. So let's learn from these people. Let's learn from Shaz. Let's learn from Sonic. Let's talk to the people who have got that knowledge. And then lastly, hopefully, we're able to get some of the talented female players back. I say some of the talented female players. We got a lot of talented female players who are still competing. But I saw Megs was putting up some insane numbers in ESCA last season. I know she's been playing Valorant. I think Leaf was playing Valorant. She was part of the ATK team. We had Casey, who I think is like the most talented female player in South Africa. She's in a mixed team at the moment. So hopefully we're able to get all these females buying back into the female projects in the South African scene, getting that belief, getting that commitment, getting that drive, getting that desire, getting that fire, and from there actually really making something of this opportunity. It's a small scene, guys. We got to get over ourselves, figure our shit out. It's for the better for everybody. So there we go. The world's waiting for us, guys. Let's show them what we're capable of.